A roster team area is created to logically group similar employees working within the same team. Items that can be applied to the roster team area include area rules, validation rules, recommended teams, auto-rostering day priority, and budget. Area rules will look at the team staffing demand and identify the necessary requirements. It will identify how many staff are needed to provide adequate cover for a shop floor or a hospital ward. If we look at this example where we have three departments, the household department, the men's and the ladies department, and we have our staff that can be rostered, the system will assign staff to each department based on the staffing demands. So the ladies department requires 3 staff members, where the men's and the household department only requires 2. Any additional staff that are surplus to a requirement will not be rostered. With validation rules, the system looks at the staff that are available to be rostered and checks if they have exceeded the weekly and daily limits with regard to the validation rules, such as the working time directive or their contract hours. In this example, we can see 3 departments. The system will check each of the employees to ensure that the validation rules have been applied. Any staff member that breaks a validation rule will not be rostered to work. Recommended teams are closely affiliated teams within the one organisation. For example, 2 departments in a retail store or 2 wards in a hospital. When you can't cover gaps within your own team area, you can allocate resources from other teams. If there's a requirement to have a minimum of 2 staff per department, we can see that the men's department is now short 1 person. The recommended team for the men's department is the ladies department, and in this example, resources can be taken from the ladies department and allocated to the men's department to ensure that the minimum staff requirement is met. Auto-rostering. Certain days can be prioritised in the system. Staff and resources will then be allocated to these days first. The remaining resources are then allocated to subsequent days. For example, if we take a retail store, Fridays and Saturdays will be our priority days and will be rostered first. Staff will then be rostered to the remaining days based on their priority. Weekly budgets can be set to ensure that when staff are assigned, the staff payment amount will not exceed the set budget. The system will score each employee and list them for suitability. In this example, we can see the system rostering staff, and when the budget has been exceeded, the system will highlight to the manager when the cost is greater than the budget. The manager must then decide whether to reduce the number of staff working or to swap shifts with people on a lower rate of pay to meet the budget requirements. To recap, a roster team area is created to logically group similar employees working within the same team. Items that can be applied to the roster team area include area rules, validation rules, recommended teams, auto-rostering day priority, and budget.